Hey guys, this is Brendon from Tap Rack Bang. Today we're going to talk about range-ism and how they can negatively impact us on a self-defense situation. So range-isms are bad habits that we pick up, whether it be by lack of self-awareness, lack of training, or restrictions put on you by the range. So these are things you wouldn't do in a self-defense situation because they put you at a massive disadvantage. So the first one we're going to talk about is dropping magazines, or the lack of dropping magazines. We see it time and time again. Clients would run out of ammunition, take the mag, put it on the table, or put it back in their pocket, right? Sure, the range that they go to forces them to do that. Or the training that they're at, maybe they're afraid to break the mag, which you shouldn't be, or maybe they're afraid to get the mag dirty, clean your magazines, right? But they train that as muscle memory, ingrained it in their brains, right? And so what ends up happening is they go into a stressful drill, we put them to the test, we put a time on it, we put pressure on them, and even if we dry fire and we tell them to drop the mag, they shoot, grab the mag, put it back in their pocket, and reload. Something you would never do in a self-defense situation. The second one kind of builds upon dropping magazines, and that is nonchalant reloads, right? The lack of pressure, the lack of speed when it comes to their reloads. I get it, you're at an indoor range, you're out here at the outdoor range, nobody's trying to attack you, nobody's trying to kill you. But you shouldn't be doing nonchalant reloads because it is a good practice for you to be doing reloads in speed, right? And what I mean by that is students do this. They shoot, sure they drop their mags slowly, they just nonchalantly grab a new mag and then re-engage the target, right? What ends up happening, right, is that when they get put to pressure, when we put a time limit on them, they're unable to reload as smoothly because they never practice reloading fast. So the third one is lack of immediate action. We take this one personally because we're Tap Rack Bang, okay? What I mean by that is what clients would do is what they would be engaging, they would get a click, whether it be failure, firefight, or load. Sometimes they would just look at it, look at the instructor and say, I don't know what's wrong, right? Sometimes it's the lack of training, I get that. Well, sometimes they're looking at us for permission to fix the gun, right? And even worse, sometimes they do this thing where, Brendon, I need to put the gun down facing downrange for 5 minutes before I do anything with it, right? And that's an actual range restriction that people get. So for us, if you get a click, tap, rack, bang, and re-engage, so you get that burn into your head, and so you keep engaging the target when you need to. For one, the lack of follow-through. There's two aspects of this. First one is the lack of resetting the gun. And what I mean by that is resetting the trigger and resetting the sights. What they would do is they would shoot one round and immediately lower their firearm down instead of prepping for the round that hopefully you don't take, right? In a gunfight, you don't get to decide that it's over. It's the bad guy that decides whether he gives up, he passes away, or he stops being a threat, okay? The second aspect to this is the lack of follow-through when it comes to reloading or immediate action. So let's say you end your drill with a reload. What they would do is if they end their drill on a reload, they would execute their emergency reload with no urgency, right? And that's a bad thing. Remember, like we talked about earlier, emergency reloads, always gonna be urgent. The fifth one is fumble recovery. This is a good one, okay? Because what people do is, let's say for example, you go up to the line, you didn't load your firearm, you draw, you get a click, and what they would do is instead of executing an immediate action, they would, quote unquote, reset the drill, reholster, and have the instructor re-beep them again. That's bad because you need to be doing your proper follow-throughs and keep going and engage the target. Another one would be under draw, the pistol gets snagged by their shirt. Instead of continuing and engaging on the drill, they would stop the drill, reholster, and reset. Fumble recovery is absolutely important. We see it time and time again. As the stress level increases, right, whether it be because you're pressured on time or pressured because the targets are smaller or on distance, there will come a time where you will fumble the drill. And you need to be able to execute your fumble recovery, because if not, when you're in the middle of a drill, there's no reset. Moreover, when you draw and mess up in real life, you're not going to have an opportunity to reset that drill. So the next one is an absolutely bad practice, and we see it time and time again. It's reholstering an empty gun. This kind of coincides with a lot of the follow-through and reload issues that we see a lot with students. But an example would be they would end their drill with slide lock, and instead of executing their speed reload or emergency reload, they would send the slide forward and holster the firearm. Whether it be because they've been told to do that by some institution out there saying you need to ask me for permission to reload your firearm, or it's some kind of range rule that they're not allowed to do that. Here at TRB, we absolutely want you to reload on your own and never reholster an empty gun. This one is very important. Lack of equipment awareness. There's a lot of equipment, right, with modern firearms. Let's talk about my everyday carry. I carry my Springfield Prodigy. It has a red dot on it. It has a flashlight on it. Those two things are already failure points that I need to be constantly checking. For example, no matter how many texts we send, what ends up happening is on the low light class, beep, they would draw, turn on their weapon light's dead. Sometimes on CCW classes, we tell them, ensure your equipment's working. They would draw, red dot's dead. And sometimes they don't have to be dead. A lot of these weapon lights have manual overrides where you can turn them off so you don't accidentally turn them on at the range. Like a good example would be a TLR-7. Sometimes people would forget to activate their weapon light. Sometimes, this is actually a big one, students or CCW holders would carry their pistol at night. It would be in a different setting, and then on the next day, when they'll be in a class and draw, the red dot is at an absolutely lower setting that is required in seeing it in daytime. Another facet of lack of equipment awareness is when they would go up to the line with either an unloaded firearm, they don't have their magazines ready to go, they don't have fully loaded magazines, right? Absolutely bad equipment awareness. It is very important for you as a CCW holder and defender to always know the situation and the status of your gear. So, if you're a home defense gun, if you haven't checked them in a while, check the light, check the red dot, check the ammunition. Actually, on that note, one thing about equipment awareness is we see it time and time again, is that the one in the chamber round, right, on CCW holders, they have yet to exchange it in the last 2 years. And so sometimes we would see CCW holders loading one in the chamber rounds with loose ammo on it, and that is part of your equipment awareness. The last range-ism that we're going to talk about today is consistency of speed. Let's say we start at that 3-yard line. I beep, you draw, absolutely fast draws, absolutely fast reloads. What we see though, weirdly, is that when we get to the 15 and 25-yard line, when I beep, people tend to draw slower, right? Because sometimes the instructor would be like, hey, take your time on the shot. Take your time in the shot does not mean take your time in the draw, okay? Distance does not mean safety. So Your reload should be the same speed when you are at 15 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, same as your holster draw, same as your tap rack bang. Consistency of speed.
If you think all gun laws are an infringement and you live behind the enemy lines in the People's Republic of California, then check out our Unconvicted Felons t-shirt. Came out with this t-shirt design for you where most of us are fed up with the situation here in California. So check it out. Check out our website. Awesome t-shirt coming at you, and our new line of 2 arms where it stands for 2A rights matter. So check out our new t-shirt and help us feed our dog.